for core yoga today. My name is Erica and I'm with UMBC Recreation. If this is your first time taking this class with me, I incorporate core exercises that I experience off the mat, as well as core targeting exercises from yoga that I incorporate into a yoga-based flow. If you're not too familiar with yoga, that's a-okay. I take the time to get you into a pose, talk about alignment, rather than just saying the name of the pose and expecting or hoping that you know what I'm talking about. I want to remind everyone to always listen to your body throughout the practice. This practice can be challenging. Take breaks when you need. You don't always have to wait for me to cue the break. And always make sure to check with your doctor before starting a new exercise plan. We're going to get started today in a seated position facing the front of your mat. And any comfortable seated position will do, whether that's a cross-leg position, or maybe legs off to the side. Whatever comfortable means for you and your body, I want you to find that seated position. Find length through your spine, relax your shoulders away from the body. We're gonna start nice and slow with the warm-up. And then tilt your head down just a bit so that you're looking at the floor. I want you to keep your eyes trained on the same spot. And start to deepen the breath just a little bit. And then really filling the chest up with as much breath as it will allow. And exhaling slowly out through the mouth. Take a few rounds of breath like this. In through nose, filling up the chest. And exhaling out through the mouth. A few more times at your own pace. Then resume your normal pattern of breath. You can lift your head to look forward. Place your hands on your knees or at your sides if it's a little easier. And round the spine, lower the chin to the chest, draw belly back to spine. Now slowly lift and arch the spine, tilting head up to ceiling. And again, moving at your own pace, finding the roundness in the spine, holding for as long or as little as you like. Then lifting and arching. We're going to stick with this for the next 10 to 15 seconds or so, allowing the muscles to loosen up around the spine, waking up the spine, and stretching the neck. And finish up here and find stillness. Bring both arms up to the ceiling. Reaching through the fingertips, gaze is up. Waking up our core here. Still breathing into the chest. Belly buttons drawing into the spine. Now side bend over to the right, lowering right fingertips down to the floor. Still reaching actively out through those left fingertips. Core is still engaged. Bring both arms back up towards the ceiling. Pause for a moment here. And find side bend to opposite side. Rise back up through center, both arms up. And we'll spinal twist to the right, lowering arms down at our sides. Left hand is directly in front, and right hand is directly behind you. Include your head and your neck in this twist so you're looking out behind you. Spine stays long towards the ceiling. Lift arms back overhead, untwist, looking forward, And we spinal twist to the left, looking to the back of the room. Gently untwist the spine so that you can look forward and bring the bottoms of the feet together into Baddha Konasana. Pressing firmly into the pinky edges of the feet. The closer you pull the heels in towards the body, the more opening and sensation you're going to get in your hips. So it's up to you how much or how little sensation you'd like to create. Keep the spine long and shoulders relaxed down the back. Keep with a nice steady breathing. Now extend both legs forward, flexing the feet. Place your fingertips behind you, facing away from the body. Find length through the spine. Send the chest forward, draw belly in. You might be feeling sensation in the legs here already. That's okay, you can stay here. If you'd like to create a little more sensation, leading with the ribs, walk the fingertips closer into the body, ribs send forward. Spine stays nice and long. If the spine starts to round, then you've taken it a little too far. Just remember, everyone might look a little different in their pose. You might be folded a little more forward than me or a little less. What's important is that you're listening and working within the means of your own body. Few more deep breaths here, just relieving some more stiffness in the legs. And then relax, find a neutral position with your spine, bring your arms around the sides of your body. Coming into a tabletop position on our hands and our knees, wrists stacked under shoulders and knees stacked under the hips. Lift up to the tips of the fingers and extend your right leg behind you, pointing through the toes. Heel is in line with hip. Draw the belly in to help flatten the back and engage the core. And give me your first tabletop crunch. Drawing right knee in towards the chest, rounding the spine, lifting the belly as high as we can, then extending the leg behind us. Let's just get a feel for that one more time. Exhale as you crunch, knee to chest, round the spine, lifting that knee as high as you can, then stepping or placing your foot into lunge, ankle directly below the knee. Draw the breath in through your nose. And exhale out through your mouth. On next inhale, lift the arms straight out in front of you. So arms are parallel to the mat. We're drawing our belly in, trying to lift our belly away from our thigh, and then we'll lift both arms overhead. Taking a few breaths here. Sending your tailbone long to the floor. Lower your right arm down at your side. And we'll add a little bit of a twist. So we're twisting our belly and our chest to face the right edge of our mat. Still reaching long through the upraised hand. Core is active. Bring both arms back overhead. Turn to face forward. Then lower the fingertips back to the floor. Extend your right leg behind you, point through those toes, keep the leg active, and then return to tabletop. Same thing on the left side. Left leg extends, heel in line with hip. Flatten that back, draw the belly in, and give me your first crunch. Knee to chest, round the spine, belly in. Inhale to extend the leg back behind you. And exhale to crunch, knee to chest, round the spine, lift the knee high, and step or place the foot into lunge. Draw the belly in, breathe in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Next breath in, we lift the arms parallel to mat. Draw the belly in. We're asking our core to work here. Our leg is working. And then we lift both arms overhead. And take a few deep breaths into the chest. Relax the shoulders away from your ears. Lower the left arm down by your side and add a twist, turning to face the left side of your mat, drawing belly in. Lift both arms back overhead. Turn to look forward. Lower fingertips to floor. Extend the left leg behind you, pointing through the toes, and return to tabletop. Round the spine into cat pose, tucking chin to chest. Lift and arch to cow. Gaze is up to ceiling. One more time, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Lift and arch into cow. Then return to neutral. Bring your elbows down to the mat into puppy pose, stacked under the shoulders, palms face down to the mat, and head relaxed. Take a few deep breaths here. Puppy pose is option 1 for your rest position for today's class. Option 2 is to settle all the way back into child's pose, bringing hips all the way down to the heels and resting forehead on the mat. Try both out if you're unfamiliar. See what's more comfortable in your body, and then hang out there for the next few breaths. Just finishing our warm-up with a little bit of stillness, bringing attention to our body and our thoughts. Slowly meet me back in a tabletop position and lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend your left leg behind you, pointing through the toes. Give me a tabletop crunch, knee to chest. Lift that knee nice and high and step or place the foot into lunge. Right toes tuck onto the mat, lift up to the pointer and just the middle finger. Right knee lifts into the air as we lift belly and send chest forward into lunge. Step up to half lift, so feet together at the top of the mat, hands to shins, flatten chest, parallel to floor. Gaze is down towards the mat. Take a few moments here. This pose is great for lengthening our spine, engaging our core. Maybe you feel a little stretch in the legs as well, down the back side, the hamstrings. Now lower to forward fold. Bend the knees and drop our belly to our thighs. Arms and head hang towards the floor, and take a few moments here. Keep the hips actively reaching towards the ceiling and low belly drawing in. One vertebrae at a time, we'll round our spines up to a standing position. Take your time and allow your chin to come up from your chest. Very last. Once you make it to the top, give me a deep breath in through your nose, lifting arms out at your sides, up overhead, exhaling out through your mouth, lowering your arms down by your sides. So now we're gonna move into the bulk of the practice, but before we do, I'm gonna demo our plank sequence for the week. Every week there is a new plank sequence. So I'll start by demoing first, and then we'll tie it into the practice together. So we start in a plank position. Fingers spread nice and wide, shoulders stacked under or over the wrist, and we step the feet back. Heels in line with hips, in line with shoulders. Even if you've done plank 1,000 times, just check your alignment real quick. You might notice maybe your hips are a little lower than you thought or a little higher. I always give a countdown, like we'll start our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder taps today. One hand's gonna cross over and touch opposite shoulder, and then the other. So shoulder, shoulder, and then we're gonna do leg lifts. Nice, slow, and controlled. The feet don't have to lift off the mat super high. One leg lifts and we lower. The other leg lifts and we lower. So in real time, shoulder, shoulder, lift, lift. Twice, shoulder, shoulder, lift. Nice, slow, and controlled, lift. We'll meet in forearm plank. So drop the elbows down to the mat. We'll hold for 5 breaths here, and then we'll lower to the mat and take our sequence from there. So we're gonna start with that. And first time through that seems difficult, it's okay to drop your knees to the mat. Like I said, take breaks when you need. We're gonna start at the top of our mat with feet hips width distance apart. Stand nice and tall out through the crown of your head, palms face forward, and shoulders relax down to the floor. Take a few deep breaths here. And on your next inhale, bring the arms up overhead, gaze up to ceiling. Lower to forward fold, bend the knees so belly can touch the thighs, let arms and head hang. Rise to half lift, flatten the back, hands to shins, and step into a plank position. We'll start our first sequence in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder, shoulder, lift, and lift. 1. Shoulder, shoulder, lift, and lift. Lower to forearm plank and hold for 5, 4, 3, don't hold the breath, and release all the way down to mat, tops of feet to mat. Hands under shoulders and elbows up to the ceiling. We draw the breath in to lift to baby cobra. Use the strength of your core, not pressure in your hands. And then press to your rest position, whether that be puppy pose, elbows to mat, or child's hips to heels. Take a breath or two here. We're going to do that a few times through. Deepen the breath. And slowly meet me back in tabletop, lifting up to the tips of the fingers. If plank is disturbing your wrists, try taking it on fist instead, thumbs facing one another. Extend your left leg behind you, pointing through the toes. Give me a crunch, knee to chest around the spine, lift the knee high, step or place the foot into lunge. Lifting up to pointer and middle finger, lifting right knee off the mat. Stepping up to half lift, feet together, hands to shins, spine is long. Lowering to fold, belly meets the thighs, and slowly round the spine up to standing. Again, lifting arms overhead, gaze up to ceiling, and slowly lower to fold, belly lowers down to thighs. Rise half lift, flatten the back, and step into plank. Starting our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder, shoulder, lift, and lift. Keep it going. Find the lifts. Meet me in forearm plank and hold for 5. Lower all the way down to the mat, tops of feet to mat, hands under shoulders. Lift the chest, baby cobra, draw belly in, and press to your rest position, taking a moment of stillness here. Don't feel committed to either rest pose. You can switch it up. Try a different one each time. Whatever you like. Meet me back in a tabletop position, lifting up to the tips of the fingers and extending right leg behind you. Exhale to crunch, knee to chest, round the spine, and step the foot into lunge. Lift left knee off the mat and meet me in half lift, hands to shins. Lower to fold, belly meets the thighs. And slowly rise up to standing. Nice and slow, there is no rush. Last time through, nice deep breath in, brings arms overhead. And we exhale to forward fold, belly comes down. Inhale, rising to half lift. Exhale as you step back into plank. Resume your normal breath here, and we'll take our sequence in 2, 1. Shoulder, shoulder, lift, and lift. Keep it going. Find your forearm plank. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release to mat. Inhale, baby cobra, shoulders wrap behind the heart. And exhale to your rest position. Slowly meet me back in tabletop. If you'd like to amp up your tabletop crunches, try taking them with hands flat to the mat. You'll notice you'll have to engage your core more, round, and find a lift more. Try it out if you like. And if it doesn't work, you can always go back to lifting up to the fingertips. Lifting up to the fingertips now, and extend your right leg behind you, point through the toes. Give me a crunch, knee to chest, around the spine, lift that knee high, and step into lunge. Meet me in half lift, hands to shins. Lower to fold, belly to thighs. And slowly make your way back to standing. Once you bring it up, bring your feet to touch and lift arms overhead, holding here. Engage your core, shoulders relax down towards the floor. Find a slight side bend over to the right, rooting down through left foot. Lift up through center. Opposite side, side bend to the left. Just a little bit, and lift through center. Lower to fold, belly comes down to thighs. Rise to half lift. Step back into plank and lower the knees to tabletop. Lift up to the fingertips, preparing for tabletop crunch, and extend your left leg behind you. We're going to take 3 crunches here. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale to extend. Exhale, knee comes in. Inhale. Last time we exhale to crunch. We're going to hold it here, but don't hold the breath. See if you can lift the knee a little bit higher and get the foot into a lunge position. Draw the breath in through the nose and lift the arms parallel to floor. Engage the core, belly's in, gaze is down towards your toes. Then lift both arms overhead. Take a few breaths here. Lower left arm down at your side. And take a spinal twist to face the left edge of your mat. Bring both arms up overhead. And exhale, fingertips to floor. Tuck right toes onto the mat and lift that knee into the air. And walk your hand to the right side of your mat, coming into a separate leg forward fold. Feet turn to face forward. We're on the tips of our fingers, facing the right edge of the mat. If your feet aren't planted firmly on your mat, go ahead and adjust your feet. Spread the toes wide, press them firmly down to the mat. Lengthen the spine out through the crown of your head. Gaze is down towards the floor. You don't have to add a fold here. Arms can stay straight. Belly's still engaged. Then we'll walk back to lunge, facing the front of the mat. Left foot turns forward, right heel lifts off the mat, and we'll step back into plank. Taking our sequence in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder and shoulder, lift and lift. Keep it going. Find your forearm plank. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way down to mat. Let go. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale to your rest position. Taking a short rest period here. Deepen your breath. And just know that your mat is there to support you. You can hang heavy on the mat, let go. Slowly meet me back in tabletop. Lift up to the tips of the fingers. Extend the left leg behind you for tabletop crunch. Draw knee into chest and step the foot into lunge. Step up to half lift, hands to shins. Lower to fold, belly to thighs. And slowly rise to a standing position. Let's finish this up on the opposite side. Start with both arms overhead, gaze is up. Give me a slight side bend over to the right. And a slight side bend over to the left. Rise up through center and lower to forward fold. Belly comes down to thighs. Rise, half lift. Step back into plank and meet me in a tabletop position, knees to mat. Lifting up to the tips of the fingers and extending your right leg behind you. Taking 3 crunches here. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale to extend. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, holding this time, not holding the breath. See if you can lift that knee a little higher and step the foot into lunge. As we breathe in through the nose, we lift both arms parallel to mat. We're holding here, and we inhale both arms up. A few deep breaths into the chest. Lower right arm down by your side, add a spinal twist, turning to the right. Bring both arms back overhead and lower fingertips to floor. Lift the left knee off the mat. Walk to face the left edge of your mat now, coming into a separate leg forward fold. Feet are forward and fingertips to mat. If the legs feel really tight, put a soft bend in the knee. Slowly start to walk your way back into lunge. Right foot faces forward and left heel lifts off the mat. Step back into plank and we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder, shoulder, find the lifts. Shoulder, shoulder, find the lifts. Meet me in forearm plank and we hold for 5. Don't hold the breath. And release. Inhale to lift the chest, baby cobra, and exhale to your rest position. Slowly rise back to tabletop. Lift up to the tips of your fingers. Extend your right leg behind you. Give me a crunch right into lunge. Step up to half lift, lengthening the spine. Lowering to fold, belly meets the thighs. Take a few breaths here. Let the arms hang heavy. Crown of the head reaches towards the floor. Maybe finding a little bit of a sway, gently side to side. Maybe stillness is your thing. Just take a few deep breaths. If you're familiar with other variations of forward fold, you're welcome to take any variation you're familiar with. Then we slowly round the spine up to standing, a little slower than you've done before. And meet me at standing. Let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths, breathing in through the nose, lifting arms out at our sides, up overhead, gaze is up. Exhaling out through the mouth, lowering arms back down at our sides. Again, deep breath in, arms up. Exhale. Last time, deep breath in. And as we exhale, meet me in forward folds, belly lowers back to thighs. Inhale, half lift, flatten the back, and step back into a plank position. Our last set here will start in 3, 2, 1. Shoulder and shoulder, lift, lift. Shoulder, shoulder, lift, and lift. Forearm plank. We're going to aim to hold this one for 15 seconds, but if you're tired, you're more than welcome to lower it down now. I have already started counting. Don't hold the breath for our last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way down to the mat. We're going to take a break here. Bring your arms along the sides of the body, palms face up, and turn your head to one side so you can rest on your cheek. Bring big toes to touch and let heels fall away from the body. Help to relax and relieve tension in the low back. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you exhale out through your mouth, let go completely onto your mat. Slowly turn your head to the opposite side, taking a few more moments here. Now bring your chin to the mat and place your hands back under your shoulders and press yourself into your rest position one last time. Slowly make your way to a seated position facing the front of your mat with your legs extended forward and feet flexed. I'll give everybody a moment. Once you're in your seated position, lift both arms overhead, lower chin to chest. Then round the spine into a rounded back stretch, lowering hands to knees. Elbows pointed out to either side of the mat. Shoulders melted away from the ears. Take a number of full rounds of breath here. Giving our spine one last time, the muscles around our spine to relieve any tension that they're holding. Slowly start to lift the spine upright, finding staff pose with hands planted on either sides of your hip, lengthening out through the crown of your head, drawing belly in. And then release, relaxing into a neutral spine. Bend the knees, planting your feet on the mat. Wrap your arms around the front of your legs and find length through your spine, bringing your belly nice and close to thighs, relaxing shoulders away from the ears. If it's easier for you to hold on to the back of your thighs, do that instead. Just getting a lengthness in the spine here, finding a little bit of stillness. And this closeness of belly to thighs helps us to protect our low back. Just bring some stability to that area. If you're not already sitting in the center of your mat, I want you to make your way there now. And then however is comfortable for you, I want you to find your way all the way onto your back. Straighten the legs onto the mat. Lift your arms overhead. Give me a nice long stretch. Stretch the toes, the fingers, and then relax. Arms down by your sides. Draw the right knee in towards your chest for Apanasana. Interlacing the fingers, holding below the knee, flexing the feet, and pulling right thigh close to body. If you feel any discomfort on your knees, hold on to the back of your thigh instead. Another pose that's great for our low back. Let's just hold for another few rounds of breath. And then hip opener optional. You can draw the knee out towards your right armpit, still pulling thigh close to body. Gently release the leg and return it to the mat. Draw left knee into the chest for Apanasana. Feet are flexed, thigh close to body. If you opted to open the hip on the opposite side, do the same here. Knee out towards the armpit. And release, leg to mat. Now both knees draw in towards the chest, feet side by side. Again, we're holding below the knees or on the back of the thighs, drawing them close to the body. Now release your arms onto the floor, palms face up at shoulder height. And slowly let the knees fall to the right into reclined spinal twist. And turn your head to the left. If you want a more gentle spinal twist, lower the knees, lower than hip height. If you'd like to increase the spinal twist, very carefully start to inch the knees a little higher than hip height. This is our last pose before our final resting pose, where we lay flat on our back and remain still for about 2 or 3 minutes. Just allow all the benefits of the class to absorb into our bodies and give a moment of stillness for ourselves and our minds. The best way to ease ourselves into that practice is to maybe close the eyes and start to draw attention to our breath. Noticing how deep or how shallow our natural breath is. Don't work to change that pattern, just notice it. Slowly draw the knees back to the center of the chest and let them fall over to the left. Head turns to the right. Making any adjustments to find ease or to increase sensation in this pose as you did on the opposite side. Find a comfortable position you can hang out in for the next few breaths. Slowly draw your knees back to the center of your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs, drawing them close to your body. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Lift your head to meet your knees. Hold your breath at the top and squeeze all the muscles in your body nice and tight. Toes, fingers, legs, arms, space. And as you exhale out through the mouth, we'll relax the body and lay flat on the mat right into our final resting pose. Eyes are closed. Legs and arms are spread nice and wide, taking up as much space as we can. Let the toes fall away from one another. Palms are faced up towards the ceiling. Wiggle the shoulders down the back. And bring the focus back to your breath. Follow every rise and fall of your chest. Allow every exhale to move you a little deeper into relaxation, to allow your muscles to relax a little more onto your mat. Just follow the pattern of your breath.